any circumstance, and I won't just put it on you because I already know y'all answers, but any circumstance, I'm going to combine two questions, that you would become wife number one, two, three, four, and can you empathize or understand reasons beyond the greed or lustful reasons where someone would like be like, this is something I need to do, or this is why it makes sense for me to be in this type relationship. And Holly said one of them, which was the fear of no one can be faithful. So build on that. Would you all yourselves in any circumstance be willing to be wife number one, two, three, four, five? And what are some of the ways we can empathize? What can you think of why someone really might think this is a good thing to do?
I'll go ahead and start because Holly looked like she pondering.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
still, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. I think emphatically, I can't find a reason why I would ever be one, two, three, four, five. I'm just trying to be one. Hello, but
Hello.
but from an empathy standpoint, when you mentioned some of the different religions, the one that really stands out to me is certain sets of Muslim,
Yeah.
where it's so embedded within the culture and the territory and the area, and that I would sympathize, because if this is all you've ever known, we've all known about Mormons and stuff, but even here in the Americas, it's becoming more popular, but it's not the
Not
primary.
the
But if you're from a region where this is the norm, this is something that is socially accepted, spiritually accepted, I think you don't see it as necessarily so wrong because it's all you've ever seen. So I could sympathize with those women.
Yeah, I see what, Sweet is saying. Like, definitely, if this is something that you've, all you've known, and even in, biblical times or whatever, that was a part of the culture. I think sometimes, like, just kind of segueing back to the whole Cam Newton video, it was almost, I'm not saying that he was trying to say that, but it was almost inferred that because it's in the Bible, it's okay. that because that's what they were doing in those times, that it's okay to do now, as if God himself came down and co-signed it. Yes, this is okay for you to do.
Right.
And he never said that. This was just, these are, accounts in the Bible, accounts in history of, men who took, multiple wives. Mainly you saw a lot of kings do that because they wanted to establish their kingdoms forever. So they had all these multiple wives having all these children, as a result. But does that mean God was saying just because it's in the Bible, it's okay? And he never co-signed that. So I don't know where that misconception came in, that because it's in the Bible, it's okay for us to do now. But anyway, going back to the question, I definitely, like Sweet said, I can sympathize on that aspect of it being a part of the culture, being all that you knew. And as a result, or growing up in, you see the cults that kind of morph into those polyamorous types of situations. The kids are innocent. This is what they saw. So they grow into it and, they end up perpetuating it. But it's, so I can definitely sympathize on that part of it.
Yes. I'll talk a little bit about the empathy. And then we're going to go to the scripture. I do empathize. One thing I thought about just in current times, what would make someone that may not even be Muslim, they're not Mormon, and they're literally considering this type of thing. Time's getting hard out here. Stuff is finances.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Times are getting hard out here. And you already have, within families, like they talked about basically where folk are moving back home and kind of, you're kind of doubling up families in one house and trying to split bills or do whatever, or, whatever it have be. Well, also another reaction to that is, hey, if two is better than one, then maybe three is better than two. I don't know, and people forget how important, maybe we don't, but sometimes we do, because I think of what's perpetuated. People forget how much we need human interaction and love, or to feel that feeling, whether it's true love or not, to not feel alone, and the lengths people will go to say, I need help. I like this person. I like the wife he already got. She down. I'm in trouble. He look good. And because when you don't have the Lord pulling you back, when you don't have that standard to be something to stop you in your tracks and say, don't you dare even consider that. We don't have that. It's easy to kind of go toward that. So that's my place of empathy. Some people feel like this is a rational move, even though we're like, that's crazy. But it's rational to them. And that's just the important thing, is not to let fear, and this was supposed to be part of my final thoughts, but I'm gonna say this now. Fear should not be the motivation for any relationship. You should not go into anything based on the motivation of fear of being alone, fear of financial struggle. Fear should not be your motivation. Go ahead, sweet.
Yeah, and this is a little bit off the question that you asked, April, as it pertains to the sympathy component. But one of the things that I think also contributes to this new heightened poly lifestyle is that how we even view sexuality has become so fluid now.
Yeah.
And with some of that fluidness, I don't know if fluidness is a word, but
it is,
because it's so fluid, it's really like anything goes, like do what you like, hey, and so I'm not even going to go there, but we live in a society where you can identify as whatever and be that thing. You can say, I identify with poly and I'm going to be poly. And, so when everything is open for the taking, why not take it?
Right. This becomes the result. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, go ahead, Holly. Go ahead.
Add to that. I think that too, like going to that empathy piece, that some women kind of end up in those relationships accidentally. Some of them because maybe they're in a relationship with a man that they truly love, and then they find out that they with this person, but then he ain't leaving them.
Got a family down the street.
Want to let you go, and so as a result, you like, well, I'll just take them anywhere I can get them, and you end up in that type of situation unknowingly. And then there's the other part to women who don't know it's going on. Maybe you are with somebody else, with a man, but they're dating someone else. You don't realize that you actually in a poly relationship unknowingly. So
technically now you just being cheated on at that point.
Poly
comes with the knowledge,
with the understanding. I know,
but to April's point, I have heard some stories from the old timers about Uncle so and so, not any of my uncles, but Uncle so and so was married to Aunt so and so, and then he had a whole other slew of kids down the street that was siblings with Miss such and such, and all three people knew. They wrote a whole song about it. What's her name? Barbara.
Oh Lord!
Barbara met Shirley.
Shirley, one of them. Look. It's out there, and I think even though it may not have been like all jokes aside, even if it wasn't something that was a committed relationship, meaning that Joe met Shirley and Barbara was there too. All three
Right.
parties knew. And I think to Holly's point, they knew and they dealt with it and they lived with it.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so that,